I've got a question for you. Do you know who Dwight D. Eisenhower is? If you have ever studied American history, which I'm sure you have, then you've likely heard of him. If you have not heard of him before, then you're in the right place. Even if you have heard of him before, I'm hopefully going to provide you with even more information on him. Eisenhower is most well known for the pivotal role he played as a general of the U.S. Army in World War II, or for his time spent as President of the United States. In this speech, I will provide you with information on the entirety of Eisenhower's life, from his early childhood all the way through his military career, into his presidency, and then eventually to the end of his life. My reason for delivering a speech on this topic isn't anything special. I first took a special interest in Eisenhower while reading about him in my history textbook last fall. I read about all the great things he did as a general, and then how he became one of the most popular presidents in American history. This caused me to begin researching him and learning more about him in my free time. Then, when I saw that an option for this speech was to talk about a historical figure, I was like, wow, what an opportunity to use all this useless information I have. And now, here we are. So, Dwight D. Eisenhower is considered to be a true American hero by many and should be revered on the highest level. Eisenhower's early life wasn't anything special per se. He was born on October 14, 1890, in Abilene, Kansas. He had 6 siblings and grew up in a poor family. Eisenhower attended West Point University and graduated in 1915 at the top of his class. He met his wife, Mame Janine Dowd, while stationed as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army in San Antonio, Texas. They married in late 1916. Eisenhower had a very long and interesting military career. Early on in his military career, Eisenhower didn't have any major roles in any of the wars. He was scheduled to be deployed to Europe during World War I, but the war ended before he was deployed. After World War I, Eisenhower served as a military aide, and in 1935 he got stationed in the Philippines under General Douglas MacArthur, and there he served until 1939. In 1941, he received a promotion to Major General and was named Head of Operations Division of the War Department. Eisenhower played a much more pivotal role in World War II. In July of 1942, Eisenhower was promoted to Lieutenant General and named Head of Operation Torch, the Allied invasion of North Africa. This operation was a success, so in December of 1943, he was appointed Supreme Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Force, and then, on June 6, 1944, he gave the command to launch the Normandy invasion, which ultimately ended the war. After World War II, Eisenhower was still heavily involved in the major operations and functions of the U.S. Army. In December of 1944, Eisenhower was made a 5-star general in the United States Army. For the next 4 years, he served as Harry Truman's Chief of Staff and was tasked with dismantling the wartime army. In May of 1948, Eisenhower left active duty to pursue a new career as president of Columbia University. When Eisenhower left the military, he thought he had finished his military career, but little did he know that he was going to be thrown right back into the fray of protecting his nation. As in 1950, President Harry S. Truman asked him to take command of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, also known as NATO, forces in Europe. In 1952, with Truman's popularity declining during the ongoing war with Korea, leading Republicans approached Eisenhower and persuaded him to make a run for the presidency. This offer led to Eisenhower becoming one of the greatest presidents that America has ever had. Eisenhower won the Republican National Convention in July of 1952. It was at this convention that he debated his famous slogan, "I like Ike," as Ike has been his childhood nickname. It was also at this convention that he announced his running mate, Richard Nixon. Eisenhower then easily won the election, winning the Electoral College 442 to 89 over his opponent, Adlai E. Stevenson. Eisenhower was one of the most highly regarded presidents of all time and very popular with the public. As President, Eisenhower strengthened the Social Security system, increased welfare and minimum wage, and created the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare. He was very popular with the public due to these improvements. His biggest achievement, however, may have been creating the interstate highway system, which makes up 41,000 miles of road across the country. Eisenhower maintained very high approval ratings the entire time he was in office. Eisenhower retired from presidential office in 1961 after serving 2 terms and went to retire to his home in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Eisenhower sadly died on March 28, 1969 due to congestive heart failure at 78 years old. After hearing this speech, I hope you all have a newfound appreciation and knowledge of Dwight D. Eisenhower and all that he did for our nation. Heroes and great leaders like Eisenhower deserve to be recognized as the true heroes and fantastic role models that they are. In my introduction, I asked the following question: do you know who Dwight D. Eisenhower was? If your answer when I asked that question at the beginning of the speech was no, then I hope I have informed you enough that your answer is now a yes. I would like to finish this speech off with the following quote from Eisenhower himself that I feel is very applicable to our world today. The quote is, "Some politicians some years ago said that bad officials are elected by good voters who do not vote." This quote was made at the breakfast meeting of Republican state chairmen in Denver, Colorado on September 9, 1955.